Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM. You're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Talk Local to Me. I am Heather Alto with the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
And I'm Mike Norfield with Visiting Angels of Lynchburg.
And so last week, we kind of had a different episode.
We did.
We didn't have any guests.
You said it was different, then I got ready to say it was a great episode, and then I was like, my brain said, no, that's bad. Don't say that. That's
No, it wasn't good because we had no guests. It was good because honestly, though, we do have a lot of guests that come on the show, but last week we really got to kind of just hone in on business in general
and talk about marketing and goals.
Right.
And
focusing on your
wagging your own tail,
knowing your worth, all those great things. And we're going to kind of elaborate a little bit on that today because we do have a guest, and we also have Woody over there.
Dr. Woody.
Hey, I'm here.
That we're going to talk to today, but we're going to kind of focus more on marketing for the new year because I feel like right now is the time so like end of year for me is kind of slow. Even at the Central Virginia Business Coalition, when I say slow, I don't mean like, okay, we don't have events and things like that, but like with businesses, joining or doing things like that, because they're kind of in that stage where they're just kind of, I don't want to say stagnant, but they're like, holidays are here. They're focusing on family. They're kind of looking towards what they're doing in 2024, but they're still working on those budgets and they're still working on different things.
And everything at that point of the year that sounds like a 2024 problem to me.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yep.
And so I feel like, January, I'm really seeing people kind of kicking back off. I've probably had inquiries from 7 or 8 businesses looking to join that I'm talking to right now. Some of them new businesses, some of them new to the area. Some, I've had, members that are moving locations. We're picking up at the ribbon cuttings. So everyone's kind of like, okay, new year, let's go. But how are you promoting yourself? And that's kind of where we're going to chat about today, because I hear all the time, and I get this all the time, and I know you've probably heard me say this on the show before. One of the biggest things I get is I don't have the money to market. I don't have a marketing budget. I'm a small business. I can't, afford it. And so my first quick tip, and the thing I say to everybody is you can't afford not to.
And there's a lot of things out there that you can do that are inexpensive for marketing. And being present is one of them.
Yes.
So go to ribbon cuttings for other businesses, go to networking events and marketing lunches and whatever in your area is there for you to do. There are a lot of things that you can do that aren't expensive.
Right.
When you look at the value you get out of it.
Mm-hmm. And even if you can only look at your calendar, because I know a lot of you may be sitting there listening and going, okay, well, I'm a small business owner. There's just me. I can't just shut my store down, or I can't just leave the office to go to all these different things. We understand that completely. 100% get that.
Yeah.
But can you take the time on your calendar to just pick one thing, at least one thing a month to go to, whether it's in the morning, whether it's in the afternoon, whether it's in the evening? There's normally something out there almost on a daily that you can go to and be a part of to get your name out there, and then grow those relationships that are going to help to then promote you even when you're not there.
Right.
And that's what you need. So we're going to talk a little bit about all those things today. And the train is early today.
The train agrees with you.
They just wanted to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, no, what that normally means is we will see more trains before the end of the show, because if I get them that early, yes, I know, train, I do. So, but yes, we're going to be talking about that today. We're going to probably touch on a few upcoming events and things that are going on.
Yeah.
Lots of things happening with the first of the year. So, our first guest, and I'm going to make you a guest. You're going to be like a second guest today.
I'm happy to be here.
Chat about
Dr. Woody.
Thank y'all for having me.
We're happy you could make it today, Woody.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
To the show.
Dr. Woody Watts.
Doctor
in the house.
So our first guest, though, is Michelle, and she is with County Compass. And County Compass is a relatively new business to our area. And so welcome.
Thank you.
I'm glad to have you. I really enjoyed getting to know Michelle in the last couple of months since she became a member of the Central Virginia Business Coalition, not only with what she does, but even personally, and even she's one of those people that, since we've met, has kind of jumped in and been at events, but not only that, but also come to me and like, hey, can we do this? Hey, how can we do this? We just hosted a social
The Jingle Mingle.
Yeah, the Jingle Mingle in December,
It
which
was a lot of fun.
was all Michelle was the mastermind, but Jesse with Second Stage. I gotta throw a shout out to Jesse with Second Stage Amherst as well. But we held a Jingle Mingle at our office, and we probably had a good 30 some people at that event. We were crowded up in there. So that's just kind of one of the things I've noticed, and one of the things I love about the business owners that really kind of take that initiative and jump in. So I'm really happy to have you here today and to promote County Compass, because things have really changed since you first, met with me. And so I guess first off, let's talk about, how and why County Compass got started in our area.
Well, thank you for having me. This is something new for me. So when we first moved to Madison Heights 2 years ago, we were coming from Lynchburg and the Roanoke area. And we bought our home, and we had no clue. We needed a plumber, we needed HVAC. There were things that we needed for our new home. And supporting small businesses has always been important to me, because I run a small business. I'm a home-based business. And so it's always been important to me to support those enterprises, but we didn't know how to find them. We knew that we could call Lynchburg and call one of the major companies to come and service what we needed, but I really wanted to support our new community, and I really wanted to support a home-based or small business. And so County Compass is something that I wish I had when we first moved in, somewhere that has the home-based businesses, the small businesses, kind of like the little hidden gems that are only getting exposure on their own social media pages. And so that's kind of where it started. And that's what we want to continue championing is pointing out and giving more exposure to the small and home-based businesses.
And well, of course, I love that, because I love to support local, and that's kind of our mission, is supporting local. But the other thing that I think is so, I guess I'd say, unique about what you're doing is I see on social media a lot, you have these like recommendation pages and things where people are like, we're moving to the area, can you suggest this, this, and this? And while I think it's great. It's great to have that there. But then it becomes so flooded with so many people tagging and posting, and then it becomes very overwhelming to some degree there. And a lot of times, and no offense, some people are tagging their friends. You don't know who's licensed and insured. You don't know who is what.
Right.
And so I think with what you're doing with County Compass is something where you're meeting with these individuals. You're kind of vetting them. You're talking to them and getting their information. But it's a one-stop place where you can say, hey, here's a directory of businesses in our area that are local, ready to be supported by, people in the region. So I think
and that's why it was important for us to do a printed directory, because I find in my regular full-time job, I deal with a lot of people who it's surprising to me that they don't do the internet that often. They don't, or they just don't do social media at all. And so, this having a printed directory to me is something that people can keep in their purse or on the kitchen counter, and it's a tangible thing that they can pick up and flip through to see what businesses are near them. I mean, I'm still learning about businesses that I had no idea about.
Right.
And some of them are 2 streets away from where I live.
Right.
And I had no idea until I started doing this, that there's these businesses out there they're just amazing, and they're trying to grow. And so any little bit that we can do to help, I think, is important.
Yeah, for sure. And you never know. You think about, I always think about when I'm driving somewhere and I see all the houses and like, all these people work somewhere. Where do they work? And then, just kind of that thought and, of how many businesses out there that people work for, and some are larger businesses and there's a lot of smaller businesses, but it can be challenging as a business owner to be able to even get your name out there and let people know you're there. So I think this is a great way for people to know what's in Amherst County and see what is close to them. And, because nowadays you Google something and people can sponsor ads and things like that,
Yeah.
and you can click on something. And when I was a florist, there was a ad that popped up all the time that was like Wesley Berry or something like that, and it's like a little call center in Oklahoma that took calls, and then they would then send it to they would cut the price and send it to a florist locally.
Mhm.
And a lot of people thought that they were the actual florist that was making the order. So
Right.
it's hard to tell exactly what you're clicking on and who you're talking to when you do those things. So it's good to know that
Yeah.
there's a resource for things that are legitimately local.
Yeah.
Right. And you bring up a good point about, with advertising online, like Google, for example, it's kind of the big boys that have a lot of money to throw into advertising that get, those top spots in the search results. And so while you can search for florists near you, you're going to get those. You're going to get the nationwide companies that are outsourcing to local florists. And while that does help support them, it would support the local florists more for you to go to their business, without having
Yeah.
to give a cut to a national company.
With those online companies that do that, they cut the price 20, 30,
Yeah.
40, 50%.
And that impacts the business.
It does. It does. And then somebody spends, $200 on a flower arrangement, and it shows up and they're like, this isn't worth $200. And it's, well, we didn't get $100. We didn't get $200. We got $100. Like it can make a big difference.
Exactly.
Well, and I also like the fact that you're doing a printed copy. And there's some people that would argue and say, oh, well, now's the day of the digital era. Everyone's using social media and stuff. But I agree with you in not everyone is using social media or isn't very adept at using social media. I know for me, I use Facebook. That's about it. I'm horrible.
You start using LinkedIn a little more.
I'm trying.
You're getting there.
But, it's depending on, the different, age and where people are at in their life. The older people are not using
Right.
social media. I know
Right.
my parents barely get on. And when they do, they don't know what they're doing. So I think having that digital, and one thing I will say, you were talking about having to use things like plumbers or, HVAC, an electrician. Here's my thing. Let's say you're at your house in the middle of the night and your power goes off and there's something, or something's going on and or you can't, your internet's out. Like, what's happening? You can't go on social media and look up something. You can't pull up that digital
Right.
thing. Let's grab a flashlight and pull out your directory and you can, make that call. Now, some people would argue and say, okay, I can use my phone. But okay, guys, I'm just saying.
But sometimes you can't. And if you lose your electricity, your phone maybe didn't charge. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities there
Mhm.
where having something written down would be better.
Mhm.
And, one of the things I point out is, for all I know, my neighbor 3 doors down could be a plumber.
Right.
And I have no idea because
Yeah.
he's not getting the exposure,
Right.
or doesn't know how to do social media or doesn't,
Right. And I talk all the time about people have a passion for something. So they know how to do plumbing work. They know how to do HVAC. They know how to do electrical, something like that. But when it's time to run your business, there's so much more to it, especially if you move or rebrand, right, Woody? And
That's right.
we moved in November and I'm still changing addresses with people.
right.
And some of the things you can't just change yourself in a software or program or something like that. You've got to reach out to the company. And so I did 3 of those yesterday. And, but there's a lot more to running a business than just knowing your trade or knowing your craft. And, marketing is hard. If you don't know how, it can be a challenge. And that's one of the reasons we talked about that last week is, setting goals and things like that. Like nobody taught me how to do that. I've got to sit down and I have to kind of self-teach how to do those things. So there's a lot of small businesses out there that are probably providing great services, great community partners, things like that. And we just don't know they're there. So it's great that there's a way to kind of get them out in people's
Can put it right in their hands.
put it right in their hands and they've got something they can flip through and look at. So that's good.
And you mentioned marketing earlier, and that's a big thing with marketing is that, there's kind of a rule of 7 in marketing is that people need to see or interact with your company 7 times
Yep.
before they decide to purchase from you.
Yep.
And so if they see you on social media, they hear you on a podcast, they see you on a billboard, you're interacting with them or they're interacting with you, they get a postcard, they see you in a directory. Like those are the kinds of things that finally, make consumers feel like they can, start building that trust with you. Because
Exactly.
they're seeing you everywhere. They know that you're not just a fly-by-night
Right.
company.
Right.
And so it's that rule of 7 to keep in mind really when you're looking at marketing.
So let's talk a little bit about the directory and how people can advertise, because I know that, you're changing kind of up
Yes.
how you're doing County Compass moving forward, which
Yes.
I'm ecstatic about. And so let's talk about, how people can advertise if they're listening in or maybe know somebody that they want to refer over to you.
Sure. So on our website is countycompass.com, and we have our pricing options there. We are changing rather than when we initially started, we were starting with Amherst and then we added Bedford counties, but we realized that we were cutting off a lot of small businesses who maybe fell right on county lines,
Right.
or they would have to wait an undetermined amount of time until we opened up the next county. And excluding people is not what I want to do. My whole goal is to support as many small businesses as I can.
Yeah.
And so we opened it up to the entire region. So basically all the counties surrounding. And so they can contact me through Facebook. They can email me at hello@countycompass.com. They can find us at the website. We do have a few different options for monthly ads to be placed in the directory. We are also now offering options for collaboration. So we have an option if a small business can't afford to place an ad right now, they can work with us. We'll give them an ad for referrals to the directory.
Okay.
And we're also starting an affiliate program. So if they don't want to have the ad in the book, but they talk to a lot of people, then they can earn a little bit of money from referring people that way too.
Awesome.
So we're trying to give as many options as possible because I know advertising can be really expensive.
A lot of incentives. Yeah.
We really try to keep the price as low as possible to make sure that as many businesses as possible can be represented.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I went on the website while we were sitting here because, but I love, right on the homepage where you said you're not just buying ad space. You're investing in the local community, fostering trust and creating brand loyalty with potential customers, and that this is an opportunity to tell your story.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think that is great. And I know that one of the people that you're kind of going to be reaching out is like realtors, because, a lot of new homeowners and things will be coming to the area. And we hope to have these where they're handing them out to their new home buyers or, renters and things like that in the area too. And it's a great way for local businesses to tell their story about who they are. And so I absolutely love that. And I totally agree with you on the whole, being able to incorporate everyone in, because, there's some businesses that might be, they're located in forests, but they service the whole area. And so it's like, how do I get, I'm not Amherst specific or Bedford specific.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is great because it opens up that door to everyone.
Yeah. And especially the home-based businesses, especially, they don't have a storefront, but they service those areas. So, how do those people get noticed? This is their opportunity.
Right.
And I'm here to tell you guys, like, the pricing, honestly, for this directory or for an ad is phenomenal. I'm looking at it now, but, and I've seen a copy of County Compass, and Michelle came over and showed it to me. And I love how she has it laid out with the different, directories and then the ads and even some what I would call advertorials where people can kind of give a little article about themselves, things like that. So it's more than just your average, back in the day, yellow pages where you looked up people and then like, okay, there's like a little ad, or even now, magazine. So I don't classify this as a magazine. This is a directory. This is a very, helpful booklet to have with you at all times. With magazines, people advertise in those, but a lot of times it's kind of sporadic. You don't know what you're looking for. This is very, if you're looking for a plumber in Amherst, you can look in Amherst under plumbers, and there they are.
Yeah.
So very specific.
And what is that website?
It's countycompass.com.
Okay.
And then we'll also, every business that has their ad in the book will then have, they'll also be listed on the online directory with a backlink to their webpage, because backlinks are so important to help get your website showing up on online searches. And we'll also have a map link directly to their location if they have a storefront.
So what you're telling me is there's also digital pieces to this, though.
Yes,
it's not just
absolutely.
print. So there you have it, guys. You're getting the 2-for-1. But it's still, I love to have the tangible. I'm more so, I like to see stuff. Like I like to hold on to it. My husband would call it hoarding, whatever you want to call it. but I kind of like to have that. Now, how often does it get printed?
Well, since this is our first year doing it,
Mhm.
and so since we have an influx of businesses, I'm actually going to be doing this monthly right
Okay.
now. So until things sort of settle down and the businesses that are there have settled, then we may go quarterly. But at this point in time, we'll be putting out a new edition monthly.
And the other thing I love about that, which I think is a great idea, is that you also hear like when people have member directories or things like that, you always hear that, well, it's outdated the minute it's printed. And to some degree, that's true if you have a directory that's not coming out but once a year or, every 6 months, that sort of thing. But when you're doing something monthly, then it stays fresh and up to date. So I really do like that as well.
Yeah, that was important to make sure that it's all current. And that, again, gives people the opportunity. They know that they don't have to wait another 3 months before their ad is shown.
Now,
And
go ahead,
I'm just going to say, I'm looking at your website
because I'll just talk over Mike and he's
and I'm looking at the prices. There's no way. Like this.
That's what I'm saying. It's
When
awesome.
Heather, I'm not going to say what the prices are in here because I want you to go to the website and look.
Yes.
When I say these are unbelievable prices, like that's not an understatement. That amazing.
Mhm.
Like for just the directory listing, like I spend more than that on coffee at Starbucks, and I don't even go to Starbucks. So it's fantastic. So that's a great thing for businesses to be able to do, especially new ones starting out, or
Yes.
It should be a no-brainer.
ones that are smaller and things like that. So
Yeah,
that's
and that
fantastic.
was really important, for us to, I'm not trying to become a millionaire with this,
Right.
And so it was really important that small businesses and home-based businesses who don't have or think they don't have an advertising budget, that they can afford this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fantastic.
So one of the things I'm excited about, and I'm getting ready to ask you, is like, do you have any discounts or special offers right now? And I do know that there is one through the CVABC.
We do.
So I'm excited.
So we do offer a veteran discount for veteran-based businesses, and any member of the CVABC, we do offer discounts to those members as well.
Mhm.
And I guess let me say with the discounts too, if you are a company that offers veteran discounts, my husband's a veteran, my father was a veteran, so veterans are really close to my heart. So any business that offers veteran discounts, we make sure that you kind of get double exposure. There's a whole veteran section in the directory, and it lists the companies that provide discounts to veterans and what those discounts are. And so it kind of gives you double exposure.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And we're excited. So it's the benefit that we're going to be doing, with County Compass is new. So we're getting ready to kick that off. And I'm just very excited to be able to offer that to our members as a new benefit, because I'm always looking at things that we can do for our small businesses that partner with our businesses that are kind of a win-win for both. It's something that we're able to offer out. And then it's something that, it benefits County Compass. It benefits the community. It benefits our members that are advertising with County Compass. So I'm just really excited. And can we say like what we're
Absolutely.
doing? Go ahead and tell everyone.
So all the CVABC members will receive a 25% discount off of their chosen plan.
Wow.
So Mike, you see the rates now.
Yeah.
25% off.
That's crazy.
That's right. So you need
I'll
to
do
be
6 of them. No,
Yeah, Mike will be he'll be plastered across County Compass. Like, he'll just make up businesses and put his name in them.
Right.
But no, so that's just phenomenal. And that's something we're going to be adding to our package this year, along with a few other new benefits that, again, we are just trying to forge a way for small businesses to stay in business. We're, I will say one of the big, I think, I can't talk today. One of the big differences in our organization versus others in our area that kind of do some similar things is that, we're here about sustainability. I don't do a lot with the whole economic, bring large businesses to our area. Let's, bring these large companies and stuff. Our whole mission is the sustainability of local.
Right.
And keeping local businesses up and running.
And building a business from the ground up.
And
like those people who were starting new. And we've got several members, and we had several podcast guests last year that They were just starting out, or they've been in business for about a year, maybe 2 years, things like that. But they started with determination, grit, and the skills that they had, and just kind of went for it. And it's a nerve-wracking thing to do.
It is.
So
Yeah.
but to see the businesses that have grown and become kind of bigger companies and able to do, just within the CVABC, companies that you never thought would be able to do sponsorships and things like that. They've grown to the point from connecting with the CVABC and different members like you that, like County Compass, that they've grown and managed to do, large sponsorships and events like parades and different
Yeah.
things like that,
Right.
that really push their name out there.
Yeah. Which a big thank you to County Compass, because they are a 2024 sponsor of the
Congratulations.
Central Virginia Business
Thank you.
Coalition. And so, it's exciting to see business growth to the point where they can say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I can, be a part of this and advertise themselves, but, get their name out to all these people. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I want to add also to anyone who's considering becoming a member of the CVABC, it's been a phenomenal thing for County Compass. I mean, it has been, I could say life-changing, because seriously,
I love it.
I have a full-time job, and I struggled for a lot of years to put that together. County Compass, I just started last year, and the support I have received from the CVABC, from the members, has just been phenomenal.
I'll just say the Jingle Mingle was
Oh,
the
yeah.
same day as the Coffee Talk. Okay. And I think there were just as many people at the Jingle Mingle as there were at the Coffee Talk.
Yes, we
That was
had a
fun.
great turnout.
It was a
fun.
great thing. So my wife managed to have the day off, and she was able to come to that, and she had a tremendous time. And
Mhm.
she works from home, so didn't get that company thing through her full-time job. But
Yeah.
with her new business with the Sweet Nannies thing, like
Mhm.
not being able to connect as Sweet Nannies at things like that, she had a blast.
That's
So
good.
Well, because of the Jingle Mingle, I actually have had some members, contact me or say even after the event that they would like to see us have more, like a quarterly or something like that during that lunch to 1 to 3 time period.
just an excuse to get together and eat.
Well, no, but
Yeah.
also because
Like,
they can't
network and things like that.
Yeah,
but I
because
mean,
they can't necessarily get there at coffee talk in the morning, whether
Right.
it's because they have kids to take to school
Right.
or a business to open
or they've
the
got
doors.
workers they've got to get ready to send out,
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
So they were kind of like, we really loved this opportunity to just come in and, mingle, grab some food. And boy, did we have some food.
And what I liked was there
It was
was no
awesome.
agenda. So like Coffee
Yep.
Talk is great.
Yes.
It won awards, all that. But you stand around and talk. But this, was just an excuse to get together and hang out and
Just to socialize.
have socialized and get to know people a little better,
Yep.
because that's just as important as the networking.
Yeah.
Meeting new people and things like that, but getting to know people that you've already known a little bit. So
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
And,
So,
and that was sort of the goal with the whole thing, is that as home-based businesses, we don't get to have Christmas parties
Right.
with our peers.
Yeah.
And the other small businesses are our peers. And so, that kind of was the whole goal behind it, is just to get everybody together with, like you said, no agenda, just socialize, just get to know each other a little bit and support each other. And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I
It
look
was.
forward to doing that again.
It was a lot of fun. So so we need to chat, maybe do something
Yes.
quarterly that we can push
That'd be
out.
great.
See, told you, train number 2 coming through. Train is like, yes, do a Jingle Mingle.
Yep.
We have to change the name, but something similar.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I want to kind of go in and we'll bring Woody into this conversation. Woody, you need to have your thought processes on why the
I've got it.
CBDC
I'm
is
kicked
awesome
in.
too. Because you don't even have to ask her your question now. She just kind of lit right into.
she did. I still kind of want to ask it.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
still want to ask it though. So
Go for it.
we know you joined the CVABC last year, so
Yeah.
we had talked about that. And usually we ask, how long have you been a CVABC member, and what do you think the biggest benefit is? So what do you think as a benefit of the CVABC? What has been your best connection? Because you've talked about a couple of different things,
Oh,
but what do you think is your favorite?
so many things. If I have to pick a favorite, I don't know.
You can say the podcast. It's okay.
The podcast.
There you go.
There we go. And there you go.
No, really, the opportunities that the CVABC provides, the networking events are, as Heather mentioned earlier, there's so many of them to choose from. If you can't make a morning one, make an evening one.
Right.
Just the support I've received from Heather and the office has been phenomenal.
Right.
Really, I can go to her with any question I have, and she's very responsive, which is really important to me. I don't want to feel like I'm bothering anybody or
Just another member.
just another member.
Right.
I only hear from the office, quarterly or whatever. That's not what I was looking for. And the CVABC has really provided me, I mean, not only support, but really, when I think about it, the CVABC is it is a community.
It
It's
is.
a
We talk
community
about
of
that a lot.
small businesses. It's a community of people that want to network with each other. And so that has been very different than anything else I've ever experienced with any other, business organizations that I've been a part of. And so, I mean, I can't say enough good about the
Right.
organization, and I tell everybody about
And so I'm a part of several organizations, and a lot of times I've got one that's just for like senior networking and things like that. So, and a lot of times in that one, some of the people are very much, they don't want to talk about what they're doing because they think you're going to steal their idea.
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because we all kind of do the same thing, like different aspects of it, but we all kind of do the same thing.
Mhm.
And they don't really want to share what they're doing, but they're more looking to promote themselves and say, this is what I do. And if you can send me a referral, that'd be great. Whereas within the CVABC, I found that when somebody celebrates a success or a milestone, everybody is cheering them on.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a business support group. Like
It
I
really
started a
is.
business and I need to go to counseling now. So
It really is.
but it is. People are happy to celebrate other people's wins.
Mhm.
We have ribbon cuttings and a lot of people show up to them, things
Mhm.
like that. Like it's great. I'm happy because Woody's coming to my ribbon cutting. Making sure he's awake.
I'll
over there.
believe it when I see it.
I'm here. Yeah.
I told him he could sit in the car, so
And that's
he may
another
show
very
up.
good point. You mentioned the ribbon cuttings. So I'm surprised to find out that the CVABC offers ribbon cuttings to home-based businesses.
Right.
Like, I mean, I'll be scheduling mine
Yeah.
at the office at some point, and I mean, it's just you receive so many benefits that I've never seen in any other organization,
Right.
and a lot of the members refer other members, and so again, that's where to me it just breaks down that it really is its own community.
Right, and its own support system, like you said. And
Absolutely.
for if I'm talking to a business owner and they're like, oh, I'm struggling to get my name out there, things like that. Like I always try to be like, well, have you tried this or this? And some things are expensive,
Mhm.
some things are not. I will be talking about you a lot after I saw that price. And if you haven't been to countycompass.com and checked out the price yet, we're not going to say it on the air because we want you to go and look and see it. And especially
Sign up.
that 25% discount. Like, wow.
Yeah.
So you'll be hearing from me this week. I'm just saying.
Right.
So.
And I'm because we're doing a bagels and benefit breakfast Friday, so I'm really excited to
Yes.
share that because I think we've got 20 some people signed up.
Wow, we had
and-
like almost 30 at the last one.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a good mix of, new members coming to, just kind of get their benefits,
Feel it out and
feel it
kinda
out,
see.
yeah. Returning members that have been members for years that just want that refresher, and honestly, they're going to get some new updated things that they probably forgot or didn't realize they had, or is new like this. That's going
Right.
to be something cool. And then we've probably got, I think, 6 or 7 non-members coming just to check us out,
That's good.
just to see what we do. So I got to get up there and put on the show. It's gonna be it's gonna be awesome.
My wife just texted me, wait, I can have a ribbon cutting?
Yes, you can have a
Yes.
ribbon cutting at our office. So yeah, home-based businesses, we do ribbon cuttings at our office in Forest, and we invite our members to just come to the office. And you still come and set up information. You can bring snacks if you wish, and we encourage them to come. We cut a ribbon and then we share it out so that you get that recognition
Yeah,
too.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Just because you don't have a brick and mortar doesn't mean you shouldn't be celebrated.
Exactly.
So that's what we're.
Well, it's just like, so when we opened, we were still like, we were brand new. I've never worked in healthcare before this job, things like that. Like I've done management roles, things like that. And that's where my skills came in. But it was like, well, when do you do a ribbon cutting? Because we don't really know what we're doing. Like, what if somebody asked me like, well, what do we do for this? Like, I don't really know yet. I haven't learned. So we're actually doing our first ribbon cutting in a couple of weeks to celebrate our move, because I didn't know that you open a business like, and I've seen people
I called it, guys. I called it.
I've seen people just do their own ribbon cutting and they have a few people there, whatever, but it doesn't really bring in the connection that like
Right.
CVABC and other organizations do. So
Yes.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit. What are some challenges? And Woody, I'm gonna bring you in on this and have you. So, what are some challenges that you guys are seeing businesses face right now in advertising?
You want me to go first?
Whichever.
First of all, can I say?
Oh yes. First of all, okay.
Oh,
Do you want me to? Are you going to talk about your new rebrand? Because I mean, I
I'm
feel
a,
like you
I'm a
should.
guest on your show, Heather. You tell me what.
Okay. Well, Woody.
I'm your guest.
let's
I'm
say
your
the
guest
question
today.
again. Let's do the question first.
All right. Let's do the question.
Okay.
Let's reset.
Oh, all right, can I first say the county compass though? Like I love that you do a printed guide because I retain stuff better by feeling it, you know,
Right.
like, and because you can get in like a mindless zombie scroll,
Yeah.
you know, and then so to actually have that, like, I still get the paper, I still get like, I have to see it. And then if I see it, it just sticks with me longer. So I'm so glad to hear that you do that. So well
That's
done.
good. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause on the question.
Okay.
And first, I want to introduce Woody Watts with the newly
Oh, I'm so happy to
restructured,
hear.
rebranded. I don't know how you want me to say it.
I'm glad I could make it today. This is,
Yeah, Media Squatch.
yes.
Yeah, it's on the TV so we can see
It's
it
on the
because
TV. I
otherwise
didn't
we'll
want y'all
probably
to
never
miss
forget it.
Yeah, I didn't want y'all
So this is a picture of Woody's youth from when he had hair.
Yes, it's me as a child.
This is when he used to
Young-
post a lot of
Young whippersnapper. back in
hashtag
the day.
TT.
And
Yes.
when I
So-
grew up in Amherst County. So Amherst is near and dear to me. So
I didn't know you grew up in Amherst.
I sure did.
learned something new
I
every
did.
day.
down 60, down Thrasher's Lake.
Oh my gosh, I know where that is. That's
You know exactly. It's
yeah.
fun. Beautiful area.
Don't you have a podcast about Thrasher's Lake?
I do
Or
a
used
lot
to?
about Thrash. I have
Yeah.
filmed so many little short films around the lake, and because my parents live like you walk from their house down to the lake. My great grandparents used to own the land that the lake is now, and their house is actually at the bottom of the lake. Well, they burn it down, so the foundation is there. So it's near and dear to my heart.
Okay.
I love
Very
the
cool.
area.
Learn something new every day.
There we go.
So give us a quick update on this rebrand
Okay.
and the new Media Squatch.
Oh, thank you. No, all right, so I'm all about I'm clearly all about mascots, fun, all this stuff. And I've been thinking about doing it for a while. I love Watch Creative Studios, but that was a name that I did about 10 years ago, started everything under that. And I don't know, I've grown and morphed a lot since then. And it was just time. You kind of know when it's time for a change. And I had reached a point where I'm not to get too deep, but like my soul knew it was time for a new beginning. Not that you do away, I've been very blessed, and it provides a living, and it's wonderful, and I've met some fantastic people, and I'm sitting here today because of it. But it's just kind of a new, you want to stand out, and even for people that do marketing, you have to market yourself, and you
Right.
sometimes forget that, and it's like your branding can kind of get left behind. Like so when I do branding for other companies and social media and everything, I tend to let my stuff drift off.
Right.
And then so you forget that that's kind of your portfolio. So when people are looking and they want you to do their stuff, what better example than obviously other clients that you're doing, but your own stuff, if it stands out, and methods that you want to implement for clients that maybe they're kind of hesitant or whatever. If you're doing them yourself, you can kind of show them like these are actual real case studies. I'm actually, the things that I ask you to do, I put my money where my mouth is and I do it myself, so that you're not a guinea pig to me. And and then first of all, I love Bigfoot, so it was time to put him in my logo. So there we go.
There you go.
It was a shorter dome. It's a bunch of little reasons too for all those small business owners out there. I wanted a shorter domain. I get really tired of spelling out my email address on the phone every time. It's Watch Creative Studios, Watch Creative, and I'd spell it 100 times. And it just got long. And not that I don't like my last name. I love my last name, but I just was kind of like, I wanted to create a brand instead of.
And you wanted to focus it more on the business and the content that you provide, not just, hey, I'm putting my name on this because I've got a big ego or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you look at other, and as a creative, I think that I'm creative, but then you see like occasionally when the best of awards come out and you see like a bunch of the ad and creative agencies have the same words in all their names. We're not very creative after all.
Right.
So, it's like, wow.
It's like the dairy farmer's son that has never tasted milk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like I want to stand out. I think it's a good way. And again, my whole attitude, humor, I wanted that to shine through in a way. And
it makes it memorable.
And thank you very much. And
Yeah.
most people that know me know that I love Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So it was time. And there we go. We've officially done it.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
Well, it looks great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of it.
So Grove Street FM is still Grove Street FM.
Yes, that is.
And Grover is still the mascot.
Yes, to confuse people even more. Here we go. Grove Street FM is the platform that we broadcast to. That's the station that we built specifically for local podcasting. And the reason we built that was because we were doing so many local shows that it was hard to tell people where to listen, because there are still, but just like you were talking about social media and digital, there are people that, what's a podcast? Well, how do I listen? What do you mean? I don't have an Apple phone. Where can I listen to? And just explaining that is very, you've
Daunting.
already lost them. Right.
Right.
And so that's really the top reason we made Grove Street FM, was literally to put all of our local content and podcast in it to make it easy for the community to access. And it is morphed into its own thing, but that is still the station. That is still where we broadcast the games. Grover, it's Rocket. It's kind of its own thing now. And then Media Squatch is the advertising and producing and all of the stuff to get you seen, heard, being creative. You'll see on our social media outlets, the new ones, all of the kind of fun commercials I've done over the years. I'm kind of revisiting those and all of the new ways that you can advertise that have come in the period that we've been doing stuff. Like I've looked at commercials that we did. I did like in 2017, that if you did those now, like it would be a completely different vibe or format. And it's like, you look at it, it's like, oh my gosh, this would work today better than it did then. Or,
Right.
so it's a thousand different reasons, but yeah, Grove Street FM, still download the app. It's wonderful. It's got local stuff.
It's got weather. It's got police
Everything.
reports. It's got all sorts of
Live high school sports. We're doing a game tonight.
What do they call those? The town council meetings?
Town council meetings. We have the weather, the NOAA local weather feed in it. So it's a great.
We needed
local
Noah
resource.
yesterday with his arc. I'm just saying. That was a terrible pun, and I would almost
That was good.
apologize.
Now, if
but I'm
I had
not
the
going
And
to.
with
shot.
that, no, actually, I am going to say, like, the CVBC is excited because we have our first official meeting with Media
Yes, and we've got so many.
Squatch tomorrow to go.
So many
Yeah, with our, so they handle our marketing and our website and everything, and we're having our meeting tomorrow to discuss some 2024. And I'm glad you have ideas. I have ideas, so I think it's
Yes.
going to be a very productive
It's going to be an idea bash.
meeting
Oh, look out.
tomorrow. So I'm
It'll be great.
excited. For that.
I'm really excited, and honestly, like everything that you said about the way, like January and the trains coming through again.
What is happening?
It
today?
loves this episode. Just listening to it live.
That's how you know it's a good episode. You get more than one train.
It's, and you had mentioned something earlier, and I again have a special spot for this about not a lot of people think they don't have money to advertise, right?
Mhm.
But listen, this is the truth. Some of the best ideas and best creatives actually came from not having a budget and not having any money. You get really super resourceful, and then you kind of find out you have to be very, very precise in what messaging you want to get out. And for me, you will see absolutely, especially over the course of the next month, posting some of the commercials that I literally did for nothing, right? No budget at all, that are the most memorable. So, I mean, really get creative. If you don't have a budget, like, listen, in today's social media age, and you want to be seen on that, like, you just go with your heart.
You just have to stand out a little bit.
You
You just got to
do.
be you.
That's
And
all it takes.
honestly, you have to be genuine.
Yes.
If you're not genuine, I can go into a home and talk to a client about care, and if they're like, "Oh, he's just blowing smoke just to get us to sign up and whatever," like I genuinely care about making sure that everybody gets the care they need, and tell everybody like, "Hey, if you don't even use this for an hour of service, but you have a question about anything along the way, give me a call. Like we'll be that resource." Like you have to be genuine in everything you do. You can't just send something out and you can't just be ridiculous and make people laugh so that they remember it. You've also got to send a message of, look, we can help you.
Well, and we have a client that, I'll say the client, Brown's Heating, Air and Plumbing. So over the last year of social media, you can actually see the actual trends happening, right? Every few months, you look at the reports and you kind of see it. You literally see the trend in that if they post about an employee's birthday, that gets 1,000% more likes and hits and shares than if I make a beautiful, gorgeous graphic that I spent all afternoon on about all the specials. That's because people want that genuine connection and they want that real thing. So I think, if you are sitting there, I just don't have no money, just be yourself.
I'm really
And
happy
post it on there.
to hear you say that, Woody, because today we kicked off our program for employees at Visiting Angels where they get a customized cup with their name and our little caregiver logo on it that I make.
Aw.
And then Sheena makes them celebration cookies, which are birthday cake cookies,
Yes.
And so they get a box with like 3 little cookies in it. Well, they're not little, but with 3 cookies in it and a cup with their name on it. And like the response from the caregivers today were like, "Oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing ever. I didn't even know you knew it was my birthday." And I'm like, "Well, I did send you a text on your birthday too, because we can schedule those." But we also, doing that. But so I've done a lot of posts. Busy Angel provides a lot of marketing things for us to post. So I did a whole series last week. I talked about the grandma, grandpa, mom and dad. And so I highlighted as like members of our family. So my dad was grandpa, my mom was grandma, my wife was mom, I was dad. It talked about the things that set us apart. They got almost no traction because it was just a graphic, right? But when I go out and I do the podcast and we take pictures of that and we post, and I go out and have lunch with a networking group or go to an event and post a picture there, it's through the roof. Through the roof, because they see it's me engaged in the community. And so I've learned like those graphics are great for holidays and things like that, just to make sure that they're scheduled and they're noticed. But saying what we do in the community is what has gained us traction to where we had almost 10,000 interactions in the last 30 days on LinkedIn.
See,
the month before the week before Christmas and 4 weeks previous, it was almost 10,000 impressions. And before that, it was almost 0. So it makes a huge difference, like you said, to be genuine and just to be seen.
And I think that's why your podcast is so important and is a great platform and is as successful as it is and gets the audience, because you have an engaged audience that you are genuine. And I think that's one of the things that over the last ever in traditional media, not to bash or anything, but like shows and produced everything is kind of on the way out, and people want that authentic. Like they want to listen and they want to hear Heather. They want to hear Mike. They want to hear that. They don't want a fake persona or character all the time. They want to know, who is networking for me? Who is this person that I am giving money to every month? And I think that's really in everything that we do. It's really about connecting. And that's why, I love the local podcasts. I love these are wonderful because people are engaged, and 50 downloads is better with an engaged audience listening to a podcast or seeing a genuine, graphic on Facebook than 1,000 superficial, followers.
Yeah.
That's one reason I come in here, 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10 with no agenda.
No,
you don't see me come in here very often with like, here's the script. Like, this is what we're going to do, because I feel like I'd rather play it off the cuff.
Let's have a conversation. See where it goes.
Yeah. Right. If I mess up, if I'm like, blah, blah, I can't talk today. If the 5th train rolls through in just a little bit, all of that, people realize that we're actually here having these. It's not something that I wrote out and it was just like, I'm just reading it from a script one. So
it's not a production of today. So this is what we have going on this month. And it's not NPR, which I love, by the way. I love NPR and the way they talk like this and they're bringing you the news.
I cannot do that.
And it's just like, when I'm on a long car ride, sometimes that's all I need. It's just that. It drives my wife crazy, but whatever. But having the thing I love about this podcast, and the reason I'm still here, and Heather can't get rid of me, is because you make connections with people and you talk to them and you find out. And whereas Heather being is the CVABC and has that perspective, and Woody is the marketing and things like that, like I'm just out here trying to run my own business. And sometimes I learn more from this podcast than maybe some of our listeners do, but it's a great way because it's so genuine and it's so organic. Mm-hmm. We don't walk in with a big agenda. Sometimes we have questions from people. Sometimes Heather comes in with an article like she did last week and we don't have any guests, and we are like, we could have talked on this for like 2 hours. So Woody just passed out. But last week was probably one of my favorite shows because it allowed me to kind of share and kind of rethink my ideas and you don't want to keep doing the thing just because that's what you've always done. Yes. Because, if it's not working, and sometimes you don't realize it's not working. You think you're doing great until you look at someone next to you and you're like, oh, like I'm kind of like when the kid in the test finishes first and you're like, I'm rocking through this thing. I'm 75% of the way through. And somebody gets up and turns it in and you're like, wait, what? Like, do I need to go faster? So it's, the challenge that you get from knowing other business owners and seeing how they succeed. Sometimes you're like, well, what did they do to do that? The great thing is you can ask them, like, how did you grow so fast? And sometimes they'll tell you it's dumb luck. And sometimes they tell you it's because we promoted a post on Facebook about a birthday, which I'll be posting our first one today. So, and then the other thing I love about Brandon too, and this is not the Brandon fan show, but because I feel like I'm always talking about how awesome he is. But the thing I love is that at Christmas, they did a party for their employees and they literally closed the business for the day, took them bowling, took them to lunch, did all these, like, it was a whole day of activities. And they posted about it on Facebook and said, hey, we're doing this today. If you try to call our office, like we still have emergency people that can answer your call and things like that. But, for regular business, we're closed so that we can tell our employees thank you and celebrate them. And that made an impact on me. Like, wow, that's fantastic. So
You see a lot of businesses too doing that for their clients. Like I know we have another member, Jeremiah Kochner with the Bald Guys and Associates.
I met him.
He does he actually does a whole day out here at Lehman Farms for his clients to come out and like hang out at Lehman Farms at the pumpkin patch, and they give away pies and things like that. So I think that's also a great marketing tool.
Yeah.
Being able to do things for your clients as well as your employees.
Right.
But I'm gonna ask again, and we've kind of touched on it, but I'll ask both of you, what are some challenges you guys are seeing businesses face right now in advertising?
Well, going along with what you guys were just talking about being genuine, about being personable, one of the things that I always try to impart to my clients is that trust is important. Trust of the public, trust of your clients. And so by being genuine and by being personable and being real, that's what helps people learn to trust your business. And if they don't trust you, they're not going to buy from you.
Right.
So,
Especially in our industry. Because
yes.
we've got caregivers
Healthcare,
going into the home and things like that. Like it's hard to let someone in your house. So
Exactly.
I remember there were phases in my life where I was like, if you don't call first, don't come over. Like, that kind of thing. I don't want people just showing up at my front door. So, but for people to trust us to come into their home, that's our biggest, it's not the price. It's not the accepting they need help, things like that. It's well, somebody's going to come into my home. Like, how do I know who they are? Like, well, you have to kind of give them a chance and learn their ways and things like that and kind of get used to them. So
that's just the trust factor. And whether you're an HVAC company or whether you're healthcare going into people's homes, no matter what your business is, you have to develop that trust.
Right.
Or your customers have to trust you, and from the smallest business up to the largest business. And then you do that by being genuine, and by being personable, and that's your social media should reflect that.
Yeah, and sometimes products aren't cheap, but they're good value.
Right.
It's not always what you pay for, what you get, what you pay for, kind of thing. Like, if somebody comes in and we had signs made for our building, and I saw the price, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. But when they went up and people started calling our office and saying, are you guys opening a new office? It's like, no, we've been here for 7 years. But those signs have already paid for themselves by the amount of time it's made our phone ring.
Right.
So you just got to look at what's the value versus, what I'm spending, what I'm getting out of it. Is there value in this? And trust is a big part of that value, because you can have two companies come in, do the exact same thing. And if one was great communication, really talk to you, listen to your issues, things like that, and kind of built that relationship with you, and you paid the same price for an almost identical service over here, and they're just kind of like, yeah, we'll be there Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a huge, this is the one that communicated and built that relationship with I feel a lot more value out of that than I do the one that was, the same price, but didn't give me all the stuff, or even if it was cheaper.
Even if it was cheaper.
Even if it was cheaper, and you're like, you know what, it's worth the extra. There's a reason Starbucks are building new ones everywhere. It's because they train their employees to, greet the people at the window and say hi. The last time I went to a fast food place, and they just kind of throw the bag at the window at you and like, did you order the burger? And I'm like, yes. They close the window, and you're like, did I get everything? Like, what's going on? So, it makes a huge difference. And that's why people pay $7, $8 for a coffee and go every day. And because they've built that relationship, even though it's just an interaction through the window. The Starbucks in Boonesboro, if I go through one before work, that's usually the one I go through, because I can cut through the woods from my house. And I feel like I know the person every time I go through, even though it's probably a different person every time. I don't really know, but they're so friendly and welcoming when you go. And I feel like, that's part of the value.
And that's just it. Your relationship is with the company.
Yeah.
And that's important. The relationships are important.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to real quick before we end, I want to talk about some upcoming events, but I do want to mention, make sure that if you're listening, go check out countycompass.com. Check out those rates. Look at doing some advertising for the new year. Get
they're unbelievable.
That jump start on that. And then also make sure you are going, now that Watts Creative Studios is now Media Squatch. You want to make sure you're checking out, going and liking them on Facebook and all the other forms of social media they're on. Anything else you want to
Instagram.
add with that, Woody?
No,
With
thank
your-
you.
And I've followed everything that you've posted. So good job with the self promoting there. Because
I'm trying, and I would like to one more thing, Heather. I'm not trying to steal your show, but what Michelle said
Great.
about joining the CVABC, right? It really like we've talked about it in this episode. Like really, everybody that is in there that I have personally met is a champion for everybody else's business. And one of the pluses about being a member and knowing this crew and knowing the network is that if you do have a question about marketing, if you are not in the field, like you have just a massive network and genuine, authentically nice people that want you to succeed. You do not have to worry when you go ask a question that somebody is not here to help. So really, that is just another plug for CVABC that genuinely you got to just ask and be a part of this organization. Because really, honestly, I've yet to meet anybody. And a lot of us in here do the same thing sometimes, like literally in the same podcast. And it's wonderful that you can actually bounce around and everybody's a champion. So I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm done. Thank you.
So just a couple of quick updates, things we've got going on. If you're listening in, I want to get them on your calendar. We've talked about the networking and getting out there. And so
bagels and benefits.
Yep. So we've got bagels and benefits this Friday. If you are, like I mentioned before, if you're a new member, a member that's been with the CVABC for years, or even if you're out there listening thinking, I need to come learn more about the CVABC and decide on whether I want to become a member in the new year, this is for you. We'll be this Friday from 8:30 to 10 at the Homewood Suites, which is right off of Wards Road in their conference room. So we'll be there doing kind of a benefits.
And that's a
Fresher.
free event. You do not have to be a member to come.
That is correct. You just go on
got to
to
register. Sheena registered this morning.
Yep, she did. So if you go on cvabc.org to our events, you'll see a lot of these things listed where you can register for them. We also have coming up a ribbon cutting on the 22nd.
Oh, who's
the
that
one
for?
and only Visiting Angels in Mike Moorfield over here.
Did you
at
write that down, Woody?
4 p.m.
I'll send you a calendar invite.
at their new
that'd be very
location off
helpful.
Langren Road. So we hope that you guys will be there. We're hosting that along with the Lynchburg Regional Business Alliance. And then we also have our coffee talk this month. We're still working on the one in Roanoke, so we're trying to get that location pinned down. But our location in Lynchburg, which is the last Friday, which is the 26th, that will be at Kaya Health right off of Graves Mill Road. Really excited about this coffee talk, not only because it's our first one of the year, but also because we are going to be unveiling, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. We have partnered with Kaya Health moving into this year, where we can now offer affordable health care, not health insurance. So don't mix that up, but health care for small businesses to be able to provide their employees. So if you're not familiar with Kaya Health, they are a direct primary care business, which means they do not deal with insurance at all. You pay a monthly membership. So think of it as Netflix for healthcare, where you're paying a monthly membership to have unlimited access to your doctor, which means if you needed to go to the doctor every day, you could. If you need to do a teleconference with him, you can. You can do lab work. You can do x-rays, all of these different things at a much lower cost than even if you were to go through your insurance, have to pay your deductible and all that. So with this, if you are a business that has more than 10 employees, you can offer this to your employees for only $75 a month.
Wow, that's a great price.
If you have less than 10, it's $80 a month. I currently have a member that just signed up with Kaya Health, and they are saving $4,000 a month
Wow.
from what they were paying in health insurance for their business, their employees, to be able to offer them this. Because let's be honest, yes, every insurance is a big deal. But a lot of times you're using that health insurance just to go to your doctor for colds and sickness and things like that. You're not always using it for that catastrophic care.
Right.
So if you can save money, or even if you're a small business that has not been able to offer anything to your business owners, this is something you can do. And I know that, like, for employers, it's hard to keep employees when you don't have benefits, or at least good employees. Like, so, this gives you something to offer them. And we're super excited to announce this. We already have businesses with the CVABC that are signing up. You do have to be a member of the CVABC to get this discount.
Okay.
So this is for businesses in the area that really want to look at healthcare for themselves. If they're a single owner, or if they have employees and want to say, hey, I can pay $300 a month for so many employees versus thousands to the marketplace
For what employee?
whatever. So
It sounds like that company that saved $4,000 needs to become a sponsor.
Yeah, they are.
I could still save money.
They are top level. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
But I'm super excited for this because actually he justified. He was like, I can, as a sponsor, like I'm saving this amount of money. Like that's justified.
Pays for half of it.
So, so we're really excited. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that. Dr. Anderson's going to be talking more about that at this coffee talk. So we'd really love for businesses to come out and hear that. And then last but not least, our annual business lunch, dinner is going to be February 22nd. And nominations for our business awards are open. So again, you can go to cvabc.org, or you actually can go to our link tree. We have a link tree where you can go to as well.
You can get to that through the website.
Yeah, you can. And nominate a business in several categories. There's like 8 different categories.
So that's VISITINGANGELS, Visiting Angels.
But nominate them. Tickets for the annual business dinner they're going to go on sale starting tomorrow. So you're going to want to get those tickets. A single ticket's $55. You can get a ticket for a couple for $100, or if you are a business that's nominated or just wants to come, you want to have a whole table of friends.
And I've seen
$400,
behind the scenes of the planning of this, and it looks like it's going to be a great event. It's also sponsored by Visiting Angels, so that doesn't.
It is sponsored by.
I guess I have to go.
Presented by Visiting Angels of Lynchburg.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a lot of our upcoming events we have going on. We also have this out here because it's here in Bedford. Homegrown Company that used to be on the corner of Main and Southbridge has moved locations. They're back here at the 620.
Okay.
We're going to be doing their ribbon cutting and grand opening of their new location February 1st. So at 3 p.m. So we'll be inviting people to that too. So just kind of want to give a rundown of things you guys, as we've been talking about getting out and getting involved, there's some opportunities for you. Get them on your calendar. And again, you can go to
cvabc.org
and find out more information.
Join us again next week. Have a great week, everybody.